I really needed to get a job because I needed the funds, okay? I need to get that coin. I need to bring home the bread, okay? However else you want to say it. It just really left no time for playing games, no time for rest. There's no time to waste. I definitely had to give up alive, basically. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to it. My name is Jennifer and I am a third quarter nursing student at Psych Clinicals today, and I want to get back to vlogging. What a transition. Yeah, so I'm going to try to start vlogging again what it's like to be in nursing school, just because I want this channel to be helpful. I do want to also like record memories and stuff, but at the end of the day I do want to make this a helpful experience, and I only am going to go through nursing school once, so I thought I'd just go along and share the journey with you. I feel like I said that when I first started vlogging, and then look what happened. I skipped freaking second quarter. I'm sort of back, I guess. So let me just get you updated on what happened, what's been going on. Today's President's Day, and whoever has clinicals on Monday still has to go to clinicals, at least with my school. Not sure if it's the same for other nursing schools, but you know, holidays, the hospitals don't get off on holidays because obviously their patients are still there, so there's no break, and neither did us students get a break, unfortunately, but that's alright. I was able to get out early today, which is nice. I'm really tired because last night I procrastinated. I usually, I kind of am a procrastinator on the low-key. I had a maxi care plan which was not actually due today, but it was due next week, but I wanted to get it done and out of the way. And my patient last week, which I did it on, was a really good patient, so I decided to just go ahead and do it. And I put it off to the very last minute, so I literally was up till like 3 a.m. last night. I still didn't finish it, and I woke up this morning. Naturally, I woke up at like 8. My body knew I had to get it done, and luckily I was able to finish it in the morning. But then I had a little fiasco because my printer literally ran out of ink while I was printing it, so I had to print one more page. So I had to run to the Office Depot, buy the ink, come back, print it all, and still make it to clinical on time, which luckily I did. And thankfully, even if I was a little bit late, my clinical instructor is pretty relaxed and not very strict, so everything worked out. Thankfully. I'm just hella tired now. And then I was afraid my care plan would not be good, my maxi care plan, because you know, I'm doing it late at night, early in the morning, rushing. But luckily my clinical instructor graded it and she really liked it, gave me full points. It's honestly not that bad. I just basically got all the information from the charts, my patient's chart, as well as my nursing care plan book, copy and pasted. And luckily my patient last week was very talkative, and I had a lot of information to explain and go off like for history, and a lot of quotation marks which you put in for subjective data for a patient. But yes, so that was my morning. Oh, I forgot, I kind of left you hanging about what happened in psych. So I can't go into depth about, you know, obviously the patients because of HIPAA. However, I can just tell you what I did, I guess. So in psych clinical, at the start of it, we go through like presentations of how to therapeutically speak with patients, and different like learning about groups and all this other information that you'll get into when you're in psych. And then after that, we break for lunch, and then we go into the patients, the floors. Every week we rotate between like adults, child, adolescents, seniors, intake, chemical dependency. And so this week, since I already completed my main thing, which I would have prepared this week for next week, which was the maxi care plan, since I already completed it, I went to the intake floor. So I didn't see like actual patients, but I was observing what an intake nurse or intake worker does. And so this is a little synopsis of what they do. So basically they are looking for patients who meet criteria to go be admitted into behavioral hospital, or whatever your area is called, medical center. Like, you know, to be admitted into a psychiatric or the medical behavioral center, you need to meet the 3 criteria, which is danger to self, danger to others, or gravely disabled. So they're looking for those in patients, and usually these patients are referred from other hospitals, other clinics, or they could be voluntary. It's like first come, first serve. Whoever has been recommended to transfer to that facility, they go through and do a workup on the patient, get the intake, call the nurses, call the doctor, explain the case, make sure the insurance will cover it. Oh, they gotta make sure there's a bed too in the facility, obviously. And then after it's all good, then they admit a patient, and we get transferred over and we get it into the center. That's a little synopsis of what they do. Yeah, I did that. It was really chill. I was like almost about to fall asleep because I slept late last night, and I was really like trying not to fall asleep. I had to keep moving in my chair. I had to keep the blood flowing because I was really going to fall asleep, but luckily I did not. Thank goodness. And my nurse was super sweet, very nice. She even fed me some cookies. I love cookies. Feed me food, you got me. So yeah, it was just interesting to see what they do behind the scenes. It's definitely a very relaxed job. It's not like in the medical center where you're having to do IVs or anything intense. Yeah, my nurse said, yeah, like when you're near to retirement, you should like consider going here, which could be an option if you like psych nursing anyway. But yeah, that's what I did. But let me just give you a little synopsis of what happened in second quarter, if you don't mind. I'm gonna just fix my hair real quick and we can sit down and get to that. I'm gonna eat some of my snacks. Feels good to have substantial food in my body now. Because literally I was running so late this morning, I only brought, if you know the Ritz crackers, pretty good, pretty unhealthy. I ate a whole roll of those and then I had one orange for lunch today. Not the best. I can restart tomorrow. I'm just trying to get through it. But anyways, let's talk about second quarter. Let me tell you guys what it's like to be working 15 hours plus a week as well as going to nursing school full-time. Well, first and foremost, it is definitely possible. As you can see, I'm still here, I'm alive, I'm surviving, and I'm still working 15 hours a week and going full-time to school. Obviously, it just depends on you and your situation. It's helpful for me since I still live with my parents. I don't have any kids I need to take care of. I don't have bills. I just have more time than I'm sure other people. But yeah, it just depends on you. Let me just tell you about second quarter. So second quarter, I was taking 4 full main classes. Not all of main, but basically the main ones were pharmacology, very important, pathophysiology, also important, and then I had an informatics class about computers and stuff, and health wellness promotion class. So I did not have any clinicals in the actual hospital this quarter. The only clinicals we had were in the community for the promotion class, but they weren't very consistent every week. It was just on an event basis. Mostly that quarter was just studying, book work, a lot of memorization, not so much hands-on clinical stuff like I had done first quarter. I did not have a job my very first quarter because my previous college, which I transferred from, I did have a job, and I did want to get a job while I was in nursing school, but I wanted to first feel out the first quarter to see how it is and how I could handle it. It was tough, but it was definitely doable, and I knew I really needed to get a job because I needed the funds, okay? I need to get that coin. I need to bring home the bread, okay? However else you want to say it. I just needed that extra support to support things like eating out, buying a new pair of shoes because I want to, and just having a little cushion, and also just money to like start building my credit and support myself and not always ask my parents or depend on them for things. So that was my whole reasoning for getting a job, and over the summer I was really working hard to find a job. I applied to almost every single listing available in the hospital associated with my school. I wanted to work in the hospital to get some clinical experience, but I do not have like a certificate for PCA or CNA nurse's assistant, unfortunately. You know, a lot of the job listings said you don't need it, but they just like automatically denied me because I didn't have it. So might as well just put that you need it instead of getting my hopes up, okay? But yeah, anyways, so I applied to a couple of random jobs too. I applied to Subway and got an interview, and they even were gonna hire me. I just needed to get the little food handler certificate, but me being my cheap self, I did not want to pay the $20 to get that certificate in, so I was like, you know what, I don't know, I'm gonna just wait it out and see if the other jobs I would apply to would go well. So I ended up getting 2 more interviews at jobs on campus. They're more clerical type of job works, which was experience I did have from my previous first job at my other old campus. And so the first one, it went decent. A lot of the job listings did not exactly explain what the job was about, so going into it, well, when they contacted me, they gave me a little info and I had to like research it before going to the interview. But yeah, the first one I thought went alright. I was hit with that question like, tell me about yourself, and I did not prepare for that at all, so I was like, there was a good 2-minute silence of me just thinking like, So guys, be prepared for that question. Other than that, I think it went well. And then the other interview I had was for like a traveling outside of campus job in the office. And they had a lot of questions about current events, and that is something I lack in because I literally do not have time to keep up, or at least I don't make time to keep up with current events, so I feel like that's what got me to not get that job. But anyways, the first job where I messed up in the interview, long story short, they hired me. And honestly, this job was such a blessing. I thank God, because during this whole summer thing, I was praying that I'd find a job that works with me, works with my schedule, works with school, won't hinder it too much, and won't be a bothersome, if that makes sense. It just won't hinder my grades and studies and still sustain me and just be flexible and everything. And this job was literally everything. And also my coworkers are freaking amazing. They're so nice and just really helpful. So I can't thank them enough. So anyways, yeah, I got that job. So I ended up working there at the end of summer before school started, and once school started, I incorporated it into my schedule. Okay, so that's my first job. My other job that I call it a job, it's more like a side hustle, is that I resell clothing. I love thrifting and I love the business sides of things, and I have 3 reseller apps that I use actively to resell clothing and all that stuff. So it was a hobby I just got into over summer, and it really picked up momentum, and I wanted to continue it during school, which I was able to. But with this side hustle, it's like every week is like a different amount of time I spend on it. It just depends on how much I want to spend in it, and it could range from like literally 2 hours to maybe 8, just depending on how much I want to put into it. So yeah, that was how much hours I was working a week. Minimum 15 for my main part-time job, but it could range all the way to like 25 depending how much I want to put in for my side hustle too. And so that was going on while I was in school doing pharmacology, pathophysiology, health and wellness, and informatics. It's doable. It just really left no time for playing games, no time for rest. I could just say there's no time to waste. I definitely had to give up a life, basically, which is fine. I like my side hustle, really. It's a hobby for me, and I really enjoy it. And my job is really chill. It's like not too stressful or demanding, so it wasn't something I dreaded to go to. But yeah, my social life definitely has dwindled down. If you would have seen my first couple of vlogs, you would have seen I always go out a lot, and that definitely was not the case for second quarter and third quarter right now, because I'm still out working. And that's just a sacrifice I had to make. It's really up to you and your personal abilities and what really you need personally. Like, I'm an introvert, so I don't necessarily feel the need to have to, you know, socialize all the time. It drains more energy for me than I gain. Of course, I still like to hang out with people, but I don't need to every single week, if that makes sense. So yeah, anyways, whole synopsis, it's doable. I ended up getting decent grades. They're not the best grades I want. Obviously, I always want to get that 4.0. I still made it to the principal's honor roll. One class, the final, I did not study well for, so I bombed it. But I still got a B+ in that class, but I knew that was pathophysiology. I know I could have done better if I had put in more time. Pharmacology, I did much better than I thought, considering my situation and all the hours I put aside from school. I had gotten A- in that class, and my other 2 classes I got A's, thankfully. Obviously, it is possible. That's all I'm saying, guys. Look at me, I may have freaking eye bags. You just gotta do what you gotta do. It's your own situation, okay? Basically, that's my story of second quarter. That's where I've been. And this video is already gonna be long, so I'm just gonna end it here. I want to make this series helpful. I can even do videos on how I studied for pharmacology or things from second quarter. Otherwise, I'll just continue with this quarter of things. So yeah, I just have a lot of updates to tell you, and hopefully we can all get through nursing school together if you're in it too. So yeah, thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next video.